Welcome to EPG Pathshala and special welcome to the module of root finding problem in the subject of computer oriented numerical methods under the subject of information technology. You may ask me the question, why should we study root finding problem at all? What is the need of it? The answer is, in today's world of scientific and engineering problems, name any subject, be it physics, chemistry, mathematics, statistics, biosciences, forensic science and engineering, one comes across equation whose roots are necessary to find. To cite a few examples, let us look at the equation 72 plus t minus 1 by k plus 18 plus 1 by k e raised to minus kt minus 98.6 equal to 0. You would be surprised that this equation arose when a criminal detective needed the time of death of a person. He had to solve this equation to derive the time of death. Similarly, you are looking at the second equation, v plus 14.3 e raised to 2v minus 1 minus 12 equal to 0. This is the equation which electrical engineers face to get the value of voltage. And so, it is very necessary that we learn how to find roots of an equation. First, let us understand what is meant by this problem or what is meant by root of an equation. See, given a function f(x), we have to find x equal to c such that fc is equal to 0. This number c is called root of f(x) equal to 0 or is 0 of the function f(x). And this function f(x) may be either algebraic or may be transcendental function. What we mean by transcendental function is that a function involving exponential function, trigonometric function, inverse functions or logarithmic functions. See, this root finding problem, if we represent it graphically, let us understand it graphically. See, if we plot the graph of y equal to f(x), you are looking at the graph in the screen, then the point at which it cuts the x-axis are nothing but the roots of f(x) equal to 0, because we have to solve for the point c where fc is 0. So, graph wherever it cuts the x-axis, I have shown with the start points are the roots of f(x) equal to 0. See, this problem is not new to you. Already in your school days, you have been finding roots of a quadratic equation f(x) equal to ax square plus bx plus c, and you very well know the roots are given by minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a. But the question is, if your function is a polynomial of higher degree 3 or 4, then what? Cardano formula and Ferrari formula exist for polynomials of degree 3 and 4 respectively, but of course there is no direct formula. One has to apply a series of formulas to get the root of cubic equation or quadratic equation. But then what if f is a polynomial of higher degree? Or even if f is not a polynomial, f is an algebraic equation or transcendental equation. Unfortunately, no analytical methods exist which give us solution of such equations. And that is why we have to resort to numerical methods to get root of such equations. Under numerical methods, we find an approximate solution to a root of the equation. Numerical methods cannot boast of getting exact solution to the equation f(x) equal to 0. Nevertheless, we get approximate root to the desired accuracy. Whatever accuracy we desire, it is a possibility to find roots of such equation. See, the methods which we employ to find roots of f(x) equal to 0, the nature of most of these methods are iterative in nature, meaning by we begin with initial guess or guesses of the root. You may ask how to get the initial guesses of the root. Well, there is no formal method for getting the roots of initial guesses. Either one may plot the function y equal to f(x) and get the idea of the location of the root by wherever the curve is crossing the x-axis. Or if that is not easy, one may have to evaluate the function value at different intervals of the argument, at regular intervals, and check whether the function changes its sign. We will see later, if the function changes its sign, then the root will lie within those 2 points where function is of opposite sign. And once when these two initial guesses or one initial guess is ready, then they become input to our process. Process or the method, there would be different methods which would be studying in due course of time from one model to another. As a result of the process applied, we get the output which is supposed to be the closer approximation to the roots. That is verified whether we are satisfied with the output, that is whether the output is correct up to desired accuracy. If yes, fine, we go ahead and stop the process. But if not, then in that case, this output becomes input to our process, and this process goes on till we are satisfied with our results. Usually, if one has chosen a good proper initial choice of roots and the process is applied properly, majority of the time this sequence of approximations which we generate will converge to a good solution of the equation f(x) equal to 0. So, this being basic of the iterative methods, we are going to apply this nature of the iterative methods in finding roots of the equation f(x) equal to 0. These iterative methods can be classified into two types, one which are called open and the other which are called closed or bracketing type. In case of closed or bracketing methods, we choose 2 points within which the root lies, and in the case of open method, there is no such constraint on the root, location of the root. So, let us begin with one of the simplest and easy method to find roots of an equation f(x) equal to 0, which is called bisection method. The principle on which bisection method is based is as follows. If function is continuous on the interval a b and function value at a and b are of opposite signs, then the equation f(x) equal to 0 will have at least one real root between a and b. This result is very well based on the intermediate value theorem. The intermediate value theorem tells us that if function is continuous in the interval a b, then function will take all the intermediate values between f(a) and f(b). So, when we apply to this statement of principle, see, we are saying function at a is negative, function at b is positive. This means that the point a f(a) is on one side of the x-axis, below x-axis, and the point b f(b) is on the other side of the x-axis. Let us say f(a) is negative. So, the curve at the point a f(a) is below x-axis and the curve at the point b is above x-axis. And being intermediate value theorem, being the function is continuous, there are no breaks, there are no jumps. The function, the graph, when we plot, will definitely has to move from one side of the x-axis to the other side of the x-axis. And as a result, when it has to move from one side to the other side, it has to cross x-axis at least once. And the point where it will cross the x-axis is going to be the root of the equation f(x) equal to 0. In layperson terms, we can understand it that way. Let us say a thin stream of water is flowing opposite your home. You are standing outside home and you need to go inside your home. There is one condition in your movement, and that condition is that you are not allowed to lift your leg, you are not allowed to jump, but you have to walk from where you are standing to inside home by taking infinite small movements, dragging your feet on the ground. You can very well realize that when you have to go inside, your feet have to become wet. You can't reach inside home by keeping your feet dry. And this is the same concept, that when the graph y equal to f(x) moves from one side of the x-axis to the other side, it has to cross x-axis at least once. Now, let us understand the bisection method, how we go about it. See, so initially we find 2 points a and b where function is of opposite sign, and then our initial guess for the root initial estimate for the root is one of the points, let us say E. The process is very simple. This is one of the very simple methods to find roots of an equation f(x) equal to 0. The process is very simple. Just find the midpoint of interval AB. Mathematically, it is given by A plus B by 2. You can look at the graph. C point we have found, it is A plus B by 2. And this C, which is A plus B by 2, will be the estimate for the root at this time. Now, evaluate the function at the point C. You can look in the graph here. FC comes out to be here positive. And again apply the same principle, FC is positive. So, root will lie now between A and C here. So, what we do is we check the sign of FC being positive. We will replace this C by B, C will take the role of B. So, our interval has become half of the previous. Now, C is taking the role of B and root lies now between new A, which is same as old, and new B. We will repeat the process again. So, with this new A and B, again the process is the same. We find the midpoint, C given by A plus by 2, check the sign of the function value and accordingly decide whether C will take the role of A or whether C will take the role of B. Now, we look at the graph here in this example which we have drawn on the screen. FC is negative and that is FA into FC is positive here. F and FC are of the same sign, and so C will take the role of A now, and so again the root, our interval has become half of the previous one, and this is how we'll go on repeating the process. Let us look at the next graph. See, you are looking now, interval has become half of the previous one. Again with this new A and B, we'll take the midpoint, C equal to A plus B by 2, evaluate the function value at C, and this time the function is coming out to be positive, and so C will take the role of B here. And so you realize that our interval within which the root lies, this bracketing interval goes on becoming half of the previous one. So, let us look at the algorithm now. It is a very simple method. Process is just finding the midpoint and always ensuring at every step that the root lies between A and B. So, the algorithm is, we can see on the screen, we are given the equation f(x) equal to 0. We determine initially 2 points A and B such that FA into FB is negative. That is a must because it is a bracketing method. We cannot begin without ensuring that the function is of opposite sign at these two endpoints. So, one may have to apply trial and error, may have some knowledge, may have to evaluate the function at the regular intervals to get 2 points where function is of opposite sign. It is not a self-starting method, but once we get these 2 points, method starts. And so, initially the first iteration, we set the value of k equal to 1. Initially estimate is given by C0, which is equal to A, and we calculate the midpoint. So, Ck is A plus B by 2. We calculate value of function at the point Ck, and if Fck is 0, we have obtained the root. Ck is the solution, we are very lucky, which is rarely going to be the case. Otherwise, we shall evaluate the product Fa into Fck. If Fa into Fck is positive, meaning by F and Fck are of the same sign, and therefore Ck has to take the role of A, and so we will set new A as equal to Ck. Otherwise, we have to set B equal to Ck. We will check that whether we have reached the desired accuracy. So, we will set if Ck plus 1 minus Ck, the absolute value of the difference is less than or equal to tolerance limit, that is epsilon. If so, then Ck plus 1 is the required root. Otherwise, we will set k equal to k plus 1 and go back to step 3. That is, we will repeat the process. So, this is how we go on repeating the process till we get the desired accuracy. Let us solve example f(x) equal to 3x minus cos x minus 1. Let us try to find root of this equation and apply bisection method to get a root of this equation. You can realize this is transcendental equation because it involves the trigonometric function cos x. So, when we apply bisection method, the first thing we need to ensure, that is, we need 2 points where function is of opposite sign. We are very lucky in this example. If we begin with 0, at 0 let us say our interval at which we are evaluating the function is of length 1. So, at 0 we evaluate the function, at 1 we evaluate the function. At x equal to 0, function comes out to be x is 0, cos 0 is 1. So, 0 minus 1, we get the value of function as minus 2. So, first point A is 0, f0 is minus 2. Put x equal to 1, you use your calculator, see calculate cos 1 in radians, and you will get the value of function at x equal to 1 as 1.4597. So, function at 0 is negative, function at 1 is positive, and therefore, 0 and 1 will serve as our input to the method of bisection method. And we are very well sure that we will get a root between 0 and 1. So, at this point when we have initiated the process, our estimate for the root can be taken as 0 as being point A. Now, our next estimate for the root will be the midpoint of this interval. So, we calculate the midpoint C1 as A plus B by 2, which is 0.5. Now, we will need to know the sign of the function at 0.5, whether the function is positive or negative. So, at 0.5, when we evaluate the function f at 0.5, substitute x equal to 0.5 in the equation 3x minus cos x maximum 1, we get the value of it as minus 0.3776. So, function is negative at the point 0.5. So, now if we compare the function sign fc with function sign at a and b, we find that function at c is of the same sign as the function at a, fa and fc both are negative. So, mathematically their product is positive, and therefore, because fc is negative, fb is positive, root lies now between c and b. And therefore, for our next iteration, this point C has to take the role of A. And therefore, next iteration when we go, see we have replaced our A, new value of A with C of previous iteration, that is 0.5, and value of the function is minus 0.3776. B is at it is 1 and function as 1.4597. So, at this point if we stop the procedure, our estimate for the root will be midpoint, which was 0.75. We calculate 0.5 plus 1 by 2, that is the midpoint is 0.75, and we know the root now lies between 0.5 and 1. Earlier in first case our root was between 0 and 1, now we know the root lies between 0.5 and 1. So, length of the interval has become half of the length of the previous iteration. Again do the same process, that is evaluate the function at 0.75. So, value of function at 0.75 comes out to be 0.51831. See, now the function is positive. Compare the sign of this function value at the point C with the sign fa and fb. Now, it has the same sign as the value of function at b, and therefore, C has to take the role of b, because now fa is negative, fc is positive, root lies now between this a and this c. So, C in the next iteration will take the role of b, a will remain as it is 0.5 and minus 0.3776 is the function value, and now b has changed from 1 to 0.75, function value at b has become 0.51831, and root at this estimate of the root in this iteration is average of 0.5 and 0.75, that is 0.625. So, if we stop the procedure here, our estimate for the root would be given by 0.625, and we know that this error estimate is less than, error in this estimate of the root is less than half of the length of this interval, that is 0.125 by 2. Now, we again evaluate the function value at C, it comes out to be 0.06404. You can also look at the function values, they are decreasing as we proceed ahead. Now, look at the function sign at this point 625. Now, this function value is positive. So, if we compare again with the sign of f and fb, this sign matches with the sign as that of the function value at b. And so, C will replace the point b, a will remain as it is. So, next iteration a is 0.5, function is at minus 0.3776, b is changed, it becomes 0.625 now, and with the value as 0.06404. And estimate of the root at this point will be the average of 0.5 plus 0.625, that is 0.5625. evaluate the function at C. Now this time it is negative. So you can very well guess now which point it is to be replacing. It has to replace A this time. So A is 0.5625, function at is minus 0.1584, B is as it is, and the midpoint is the estimate for the root. And function value now at midpoint comes out to be negative. So this is how we go on repeating the process. So this is the entire table you should get when you solve it on your own. And you can see at the end of 12th iteration, the estimate for the root is 0.60719, and at the end of 14th iteration, the estimate for the root is 0.68233, and function value at this point up to 4 decimal places is 0. And so we have found a root correct to 4 decimal places as 0.68233. So this is how we can apply the bisection method to get a desired root. So you can very well realize that in the case of numerical methods, we get approximate root, but it works well because ultimately we are going to use a root up to certain number of decimal places, and that desired accuracy we can achieve through numerical methods, though analytical methods fail to give us a solution. Now there is one point to be observed, one very specific characteristic of the bisection method, and that is in this method we can determine the number of iterations required to achieve desired accuracy once we begin with the initial 2 guesses. Because in each next iteration the length of the interval becomes half of the previous one. And thus it is always possible to predict the number of iterations required to achieve desired accuracy. The formula for the number of iterations required, maximum number of iterations required to achieve the desired accuracy is given by the formula n greater than equal to log of b minus a minus log epsilon whole divided by log 2. Let us see how do we get this formula. Initially the interval is of length b minus a and root lies between a and b. Our estimate is a midpoint. So maximum error in the first step is b minus a by 2. We also know that every next step the interval length becomes half of the previous, and so the error estimate becomes half of the error what it was in the previous step. And so in the second iteration we can very well say the error is less than equal to b minus a by 2 square. Third step error would be less than equal to b minus a by 8, and so on. And the end of another step we can ensure that the error would be less than equal to b minus a by 2 raised to n. And so if we need the absolute value of E is less than equal to epsilon, we require b minus a by 2 raised to n is less than epsilon. We take log on both the sides, which gives us log of b minus a minus n log 2 is less than equal to log epsilon, and gives n should be greater than equal to log of b minus a minus log epsilon by log 2. So this is about the bisection method. Let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of it. See, the advantage is it is a very simple method, very easy to apply, it is reliable, it guarantees convergence. Once we begin with the initial 2 a and b points where function is opposite sign, we are sure that we will get a root up to desired accuracy. Not only this, we can also know that the maximum number of steps required to achieve the desired accuracy. Process is very simple, just calculate the midpoint and you get the process is over. But though it is simple, it has its disadvantages also. Drawbacks of this bisection method are it is not self-starting. You need to ensure that 2 initial guesses for the root are the points where fx is of opposite sign. Sometimes it may become quite tedious to get such 2 initial points. Secondly, as it is simple, it is slow also. People look for faster method than this. Maybe it is slow due to it does not take account of the function values at the endpoints. It just concerns with the sign of the function values at the endpoints. It does not take into account the nature of the function to make the next guess of the root, because if the function value is small, we know that the point will be nearer to the root. And that is why maybe in our next module, we would be learning what we call as method of false position, which is a slight modification of the bisection method, and it is faster than bisection. The only slight modification is it will take into account not only the sign but also the function values at the endpoints. So in our today's lecture, we have learned what is a root finding problem, why should we study it, and secondly, we have also realized that analytical methods are not of help to us. We need to resort to numerical methods. These numerical methods, though they say that the root is approximate, they give us the root to desired accuracy. They do not give all the roots of an equation in one go, but we can find, once we know the location of the root, we can find that root by our approximate methods. Most of the methods are iterative in nature. We need to have initial guess of the root, and once we know the initial guesses, we can apply these iterative methods to get a root to desired accuracy. And today we focused on bisection method, which is a very simple method based on intermediate value theorem, and also it guarantees us convergence. It is simple, and you can also know the number of iterations required to get the desired accuracy. Thank you.